Okay. Hi, friends. Oh, okay. We are going to talk about lesson 5 and 6 of unit 4. This is the introduction to conditionals. So a quick reminder, get out of here. A quick reminder that information in programming can be stored as a number or a string. We can do math with numbers. We cannot do math with strings. We indicate a string by using quotes around it. We also can store information as a Boolean. A Boolean can be either true or false, and that is the only options for a Boolean. So a computer asked to evaluate something like this, 3 is less than 8, will evaluate to true. The computer will say, yes, 3 is less than 8, and it will output a Boolean of true. So a Boolean is the answer to this question that we asked the computer. There are lots of different comparisons. In this one, we have 3 less than 8, but we could have used the greater than symbol, the equal to, which is 2 equal signs. Remember, 1 equal sign in Java and most other languages means takes the value of. So that's putting something into the variable. A double equal sign is a comparison operator. That means, is it equal to? We have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. So those are all of our comparison operators down there. When we do a comparison, we have to simplify the expression first before we do our comparison. So we got 3 plus 6, that's 9. 9 is less than 8. Well, no, it's not. So we return false. So here we have some for you to try. So go ahead and give them a shot. Well, so you remember in evaluating these expressions, first we simplify each side and then we consider. So for the first one, we'll simplify 6 minus 3 to 3, 4 plus 1 to 5, and we'll get true. Then you can see the simplification for the second one returns false. The third one returns false. The final one returns true. Now, we can use variables in our Boolean expressions. Down here at the bottom, a note about the vocabulary. Any expression that will evaluate to true or false, so will give you a Boolean as its output, is known as a Boolean expression. So here we have the variable lives, which contains the number 4, and the variable score, which contains the number 1. So we'll plug in the 5 for lives. So we'll have 5 plus 4 gives us 9. Then we'll have 10 minus 1 also gives us 9. And so we would read 9 is less than 9. Here it is with our simplifications. 5 plus 4 is 9, is less than 10 minus 1 is 9. Well, 9 is not less than 9, it's the same as 9. So this would evaluate as false. Now, we're going to evaluate some more complicated expressions. So here we've got a situation where we've got a particular game. You win the game if your score times your lives is greater than 10. So on the next slide, you've got a flow chart to fill out. So here you've got a variable, you've got 2 variables, you're going to name them. Then down here, you're going to write the expression that will be evaluated to determine if you win. Then if that expression is true, what happens? If that expression is false, what happens? So go ahead and pause the video and give this a shot. Okay, so here you can see my flow chart. The 2 variables that we are considering is score and lives. Then our Boolean expression that has to be evaluated is going to be score times lives is greater than 10. If that is true, you win. But if that is false, you lose. Now on the next slide, you're going to put your flow chart back in here, and then you're going to test it by plugging in into these boxes score, and lives. So go ahead and pause and give it a shot. Okay, so here's my completed one. I've got score of 3, lives of 3. So I evaluate score times lives. It's greater than 10. Okay, that's 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So score 9 is greater than 10. That's false. So we lose. So in result, I put lose. On your next slide, you'll have the same thing, except you've got a different score and a different lives. So go ahead and fill this one out. Pause the video here. Okay, here you can see my flow chart. I put in a score of 1 and lives of 10. I have 1 times 10 gives me 10. So I'm evaluating 10 is greater than 10. Well, no, it's not. Computers are very literal. Things that are equal, it has to say greater than or equal. And this one doesn't. So I get score times lives is equal to 10. So I have 10 is greater than 10. That's false. So we lose. So inside my result box, I put lose. Now let's make it a little more complicated. Let's say if you're trying to figure out if you can adopt a cat. In order to do that, you have to have $40 and you have to be over 14 years old. So you're going to create a flow chart using variables on your slide 14 in order to evaluate this. So in the variable boxes, you're going to name your variables, then you're going to put your expressions in your diamonds. And then down here, what will happen if both are true? What will happen if one or more expressions is false? So go ahead and fill that out. Okay, so here's my flow chart. My 2 variables are age and money. First, I evaluate age. If age is greater than 14, now if you put money first, that's fine. It doesn't matter if these two are swapped, but age must be greater than 14. If it's not, send us right to no cat. If we get a false, goes right to no cat. But if we get a true, then we're going to evaluate the second part. If money is greater than or equal to 40. If I have more money than $40, now I can go get a cat. But if it is false, it sends me to no cat. So we can stack Boolean expressions. Now for this evaluation, this is an example of how we can plug in. We're going to enter present mode and then click through. So here we've got a situation where a person is 17 and has $39. So 17 and 39 go into my 2 variables, and now we'll evaluate. First, we look at, is age greater than 14? We plug in the age for our variable, that's 17, and we get true. So we move to the next expression. Next, we evaluate, is money greater than or equal to 40? So we plug in our variable for money, that's the number 39, and we evaluate and get false. That means that we end up over here with no cat. So if we are stacking more than one expression, we can use logical operators so that they are all impacting our final decision. So our logical operators are and, which is 2 ampersands. That's the thing above the 7. If you shift 7, 2 straight lines means or, that on my keyboard is shift and then the button above enter. Then a single exclamation point means not. So for example, on that last one we looked at where you were 17 with $39, we first got a true and then we got a false. But in order to adopt the cat, I needed 2 trues. So something that is true and then false will overall evaluate as false. So we can use truth tables to figure out what the output of a logical operator will be. So true is darker blue, false is lighter blue. When we have and between our expressions. That means both Boolean expressions have to be true. So true and true, what will you get? True and false, what will you get? Take a second to go ahead and fill this slide out. Go ahead and pause the video here. Okay, here's our answers. True and true gives us true. True and false, false. Remember, and means both have to be true. I have to be over 14 and have $40 or more. So true and false, false, false and true, false, false and false, false. So the only time that an and logical expression will evaluate as true is if both pieces are true. But for or, if I said to adopt a cat, I have to be over 14 or have $40, that's different. Now, either one can be true, and I'll get true as my output. So go ahead and fill out this truth table. Pause the video here. Okay, here's your answers. If we are looking for or means I only need one to be true to get true as my overall output. So true and true will give us true. True or false will give us true. False or true will give us true. And the only way to get false is if both the first expression and the second expression evaluate to false. Not is really easy. We just change to the opposite. So not true, well, not true would be false. And not false, well, not false would be true. So let's try to simplify our cat adoption procedure. So we can adopt a cat if we have $40 and we are over 14. So our decision up here is to adopt a cat. We have two variables going in. Then you are going to write yourself an expression inside the diamond using a logical operator. So you are making it simpler than last time. And then if your logical operator Boolean evaluates to true, what happens? If it evaluates to false, what happens? So go ahead and pause the video here and fill this out. All right, so here is my answer. I put in, so my decision was to adopt a cat. I put in age and money as my variables again. So for our expression, we are evaluating age greater than 14 and money greater than or equal to 40. If both of those are true, I get cat. But if any of them are not true, I get no cat. So let's watch this at work. So here is our flow chart. Let's say that you are 15 and you have $40. So I'm going to plug in 40 for money and 15 for age. So there's 40 and there's 15. 40 is greater than or equal to 40. 15 is greater than 14. So this person has true and true, which will evaluate to true, and they can get a cat. Lucky them. So our key takeaways is a Boolean value is a type of data that's just true or false. Can't be anything else. No numbers, no strings. It's just true or false. And we get that by using comparison operators inside a Boolean expression. In order to evaluate a Boolean expression, we reduce each side. And we can have more than one comparison by using logical operators. Those are and, or, and not. When we do this, we reduce both sides of the operator to a single Boolean value. So either true and false, true or false, etc. While we are still mastering these, we can use truth tables. And now you have a copy of yours in this notes document. And we can draw flowcharts to help us learn. Now, the rest of the lesson involves some videos that help you evaluate some code. So here, I link you to where to find the code. I ask you to identify some things in that code and then modify the code and screenshot. And then I give you some more videos. And then another thing to do, identify, modify. Another video, do, identify, modify. Then lastly, there's one final prompt for you to respond to. And that's it.